Good evening, everyone. This is your evening news recap, your nightly news podcast on all the news that I come across throughout the day, giving you my take as somebody who aspires to be a politician in the near future. Hopefully, all you guys doing wonderful. Hopefully, all you guys doing well. Today is November 4th. It is election day. It's also the NFL trade deadline. But hopefully, all you guys had a wonderful day. It's been a pretty interesting day in the news world, that is for sure. But if you're new here, please consider subscribing. All the support is greatly appreciated as we are trying to hit 500 subscribers on YouTube by the end of the year. And if you're on Substack, please also consider subscribing as well. All funds go to me. They may pay for the things that I need to pay for in college, like my groceries, like clothing, like all of that. But if not, you can always subscribe for free. I truly do appreciate all forms of support on this content. That being said, let's get into the news from today. Moving on into the Trump administration segment, as we do, the first topic we have today is Trump has said that no SNAP benefits will be paid at all. Trump has announced that no SNAP benefits will be paid until the shutdown ends, defying a court order. In his post on True Social, he wrote, SNAP benefits, which increased by billions and billions of dollars, manyfold during the crooked Joe Biden's disastrous term in office, due to the fact that they were haphazardly handled to anyone asking, as opposed to just those who need, which is the purpose of SNAP, will be given only when the radical left Democrats open up the government, which they can easily do, and not before. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. This administration is required by a court order to pay those benefits. There is no denying it because Democrats won't reopen the government. They are required to do that by a court order. They cannot just deny this. It is something they have to fund. And the funds are there to do it. So there's no reason for them not to. This administration would rather people starve than follow the law, and it's absolutely disgusting. Not to mention, the only reason we are still in a government shutdown is because Republicans will not show up to work to negotiate. You can see plenty of videos on the internet that show that. If Trump wants the shutdown to end, he should tell his cronies to get back to work and negotiate with the Democrats who just want to bring healthcare subsidies down for the American people. There is no giving free healthcare to illegal immigrants. That's not a thing. It doesn't exist. It is a lie by the Trump administration and the Republican Party. This is about lowering your healthcare subsidies and making healthcare more affordable for the American people, something we all need right now, especially when the government isn't helping to make things cheaper. In other news, Trump is planning to close part of the American airspace. The Donald Trump administration has announced that they may close parts of the U.S. airspace if the shutdown continues, according to Sean Duffy, the transportation secretary. Duffy said, "You will see mass flight delays, you'll see mass cancellations, and you may see us close certain parts of the airspace because we cannot manage it, because we don't have air traffic controllers." This is not shocking at all, but why don't we just pay these people? Genuinely. If the funds are there to pay ICE, if the funds are there to pay the military, why don't we pay the people who are arguably the most important part of the most important form of transportation in this country? I mean, our country is massive. People use planes to get around very frequently. You could really argue that plane travel is the most important part of transportation when it comes to transportation across the United States. And not only that, but these air traffic controllers are essential to that. So why wouldn't we pay them? If we are willing to pay ICE, why aren't we paying air traffic controllers? Genuinely, someone tell me why ICE agents are more important than air traffic controllers. Because they're not. They aren't. All they do is they go around policing people and attacking people and racially profiling people. Well, air traffic controllers do a job that is actually beneficial to not only American society, but helping people get around through this country and get around through their day-to-day lives or for work or whatever that may be. There is no reason why we should be paying ICE officers over paying air traffic controllers. And the fact that this Trump administration would rather do that is not only stupid, but it's so stupid and weird. Like, there is no reason why we should be paying ICE officers who literally contribute nothing to the government. They contribute absolutely nothing to society. They contribute nothing to the government. But we will not pay people who actually contribute things to the government, who are actually important, who are actually beneficial. It's crazy. In other news, talking about ICE agents the other day crashed into a U.S. citizen's vehicle and detained her for it. Masked ICE officers in Chicago crashed into a woman's car. I mean, they drove into that woman's car, pointed guns at her, and dragged her out of her vehicle by her legs. Diane Fueguro, that's pronounced probably so horribly, and I am sorry, who is a U.S. citizen, was trying to drive past a scene in Chicago on Friday when an unmarked van drove straight into her car while she was driving. Agents exited the vehicle and pulled weapons on her, and the agents forcibly then dragged her out of her car by her legs through the street, um, refusing to identify themselves at the same time. Bystanders recorded the incident. I'm sure you guys have seen the video on TikTok by now. If you haven't already, go check that out. And told her that or told the agents that they had this interaction on video. Yet Fergora was then forced into a van and driven away. She was later released after being transported to multiple undisclosed locations and being denied contact with anyone. Once again, the masked Gestapo is attacking unarmed citizens. I mean, whatever happened to the worst of the worst? Truly, whatever happened to that? In fact, this is the 100th case now of a U.S. citizen being impacted or detained by ICE. There is no worst of the worst. This is whoever they see fits. Racial profiling at its finest is what it is. And this is what happens when we allow ICE agents to racially profile people. Not to mention, they literally drove a van into this woman's car, like into the driver's side door of this woman's car, which could have been lethal. I mean, I know plenty of people who have been in accidents like that and who have had their lives incredibly altered. Thankfully, that is not the case for this woman, at least I don't think so, but it could have been lethal for her. And that is insane. It is not okay at all. And ICE needs to be shut down because time and time again they have displayed that they are not only unprofessional, they do not know what they're doing, but they also are not great people. Shut down ICE. Fuck the agency. Fuck Donald Trump for starting it all. There is no reason. No one is illegal on stolen land. And if you say anyone is illegal in a country that is built off immigrants, I mean, clearly you haven't read an ounce of US history. Anyways, moving on into our other news segment, Dick Cheney has now died. Dick Cheney, a former vice president and leading advocate for the invasion of Iraq, is now dead at 84. George W. Bush's vice president died from complications with pneumonia and cardiac arrest, along with vascular disease, according to a statement from his family, of course. Cheney was often referred to as the Darth Vader of the Bush administration and frequently called himself an evil genius. I hope this man is haunted by all the souls that he pushed to kill. He is arguably one of the worst people who have played a role in recent U.S. politics. Whether it was pushing to invade Iraq, whether it was support for waterboarding, whether it was his connections to the oil industry. I mean, I believe he shot one of his friends in the face one time. So many things that he has done. He is not a great person. So, it's good to hear that Earth has been freed from another evil. And hopefully we can see that soon, once again. In other news, the Texas Governor Greg Abbott has announced 100% tariffs on people moving into the state of Texas. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has announced anyone from New York City moving to Texas after the election will have a tariff imposed on them. In a post on Twitter, he wrote, "After the polls close tomorrow night, I will impose a 100% tariff on anyone moving to Texas from New York City. It's unclear how this will work, and the governor's office hasn't responded on any questions, as it's not really something the state has the authority to do." This is interesting. I don't know how he plans to go about this or to enforce this because the states don't really have the authority to do that. But it sure is something. We'll see how it goes. I've never heard of people being or having tariffs put on them for moving to another state. That is just something I have never heard of, and I don't think that's something anyone else has ever heard of. But we'll see how that goes. I think this is really just an empty threat, but hey. In other news, moving on into our final topic for tonight, there were bomb threats today at a New Jersey polling site. Authorities in New Jersey have announced an arrest related to bomb threats against polling sites in New Jersey on Tuesday morning. Police launched an investigation after they received reports of a threat at Livingston Park Elementary School in North Brunswick, New Jersey. The threat was also deemed to be a hoax as investigators identified the subject and took the juvenile into custody. Thankfully, no one was harmed by this. I kind of wonder why the kid felt the need to do this. It's probably just him saying something stupid on the internet. But still, I truly never understood why people would be willing to make a false threat like that. not only does it get you into trouble and get you sent to jail, but it also wastes police resources and so many other things. Like it really is just stupid, and I don't understand why people feel the need to do that. But hey, whatever. Um, with that being said, though, thank you everyone for watching today's episode. I hope you all enjoyed. It has definitely been a very interesting day in the news world and in the world as a whole. I mean, Sauce Gardner just got traded from the Jets to the Colts today for 2 first-round picks. Not to mention, Quentin Williams was also traded from the Jets to the Cowboys, which was a crazy day for the Jets specifically. They traded a lot of players, but also the NFL trade deadline as a whole has been pretty crazy. We saw a bunch of other big names get traded, like Jacoby Myers to the Jaguars. Rashid Shaheed went to the Seahawks, and there's a few other names that I'm missing right now. But it's been a pretty crazy day. If you're an NFL fan, I definitely expected a few more trades today. But hey, the trade deadline is always definitely very interesting. With that being said, though, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. All the support is greatly appreciated, as we are trying to hit 500 subscribers on YouTube by the end of the year. I believe we can do it without a doubt. So if you're new here, please consider subscribing. All the support is greatly appreciated. And if you're on Substack, please also consider subscribing as well. All funds go to me. They make me for the things that I need to pay for in college, like my groceries, like clothing, like all of that. But if not, you can always subscribe for free. I truly do appreciate it. Excuse me, sorry. I truly do appreciate all forms of support on this content. It means the world to me that so many of you continue to watch my videos day after day. Yeah, with that being said, thank you all for watching today's episode, and I will see you all